1 year ago, the comic world was buzzing over that Doom #1 by Stanford Green, which was flying high off of some RDJ announcement. Sabretooth vs. Wolverine was catching fire thanks to the Deadpool Wolverine excitement that was going on, and option news for Proof was stirring up collectors across the marketplace.
What's up, everyone? I'm Izzy from Comics with IzzyVerseNYC, coming to you from the Bronx Brewery at the very first inaugural Bronx Comic Show, celebrating comics, creators, and everything in between. And this is your Top 10 Rewind. We're going back to July 2024. Today, we're breaking down the last year in comic book aftermarket. Movies and TV specs hype were taking center stage, and new character debuts and gimmicks were in vogue. We'll see what books soared and what stumbled and why. And as a reminder, make sure you like the video and don't forget, subscribe to the Covrprice YouTube channel. So let's get on with this list, starting with number 10.
Coming in at number 10 is Wolverine #10 from Marvel Comics in 1989. A classic issue that's still grabbing attention. Fueled by Deadpool and Wolverine buzz for Sabretooth's return, this book, featuring their first battle and Silver Fox's debut, saw near-mint raw copies hit $32 and CGC 9.8 hitting $210. Despite the film's $1.3 billion success, the aftermarket momentum was short-lived. 1 year later, a near-mint raw sold for just $18 and a 9.8 fetched $100, marking this book a down.
So Wolverine #10, this is a classic example of media hype. Everyone knew Sabretooth was supposed to be in the movie, so they rushed to grab this first battle book, but you see, that's a quick drop-off. That tells you the spike was purely speculative. Unless we get a new Sabretooth in the new MCU Mutant Saga, this book has probably settled into its stable value. It's a great moment in time collectible, but if you bought it for a quick flip, you need it to be really early and you really need it to be fast.
At number 9, we got Doom #1 from Marvel Comics in 2024. This is the Stanford Green regular cover. Hot since its release, this book stays strong largely because of Dr. Doom. It is an iconic cover. This issue combines a dynamite cover with a tribute to late rapper MF Doom. In late July of 2024, everything changed. Marvel announced Robert Downey Jr. as the new Dr. Doom for the MCU. 1 year ago, a near-mint raw copy was $35 and a CGC 9.8 was $87. Today, those numbers are up. A near-mint raw copy recently sold for $38 and a CGC 9.8 hit $143. Both the raw and the graded are clearly rising up year over year.
This is a fantastic story. Doom #1, already popular for that awesome cover and the MF Doom tribute, hitting multiple collecting niches. But when RDJ News dropped, boom, that was the kind of casting announcement that sends shockwaves. It validates the character's importance and connecting it to beloved actor like RDJ, who already has such a strong Marvel connection. Just supercharge this book. This momentum for Doom #1 is definitely just getting started.
Holding down number 8 is Detective Comics 1086 from DC Comics from 2024, featuring the sharp 1 in 25 variant by Sebastian Fumara. This introduced Shadow Angel, a self-described agent of chaos, drawing Joker comparisons. Last year, a near-mint raw copy sold for $43 and a CGC 9.8 hit $75. 1 year later, Shadow Angel's reviews are mixed, and a CGC 9.8 held at that $35 mark in March, but the most recent near mint raw dropped to $15. The raw sales are down. The graded copies are holding steady due to only 23 copies of 9.8 in the census. Even though raw copies might have hit their peak, the consistent shortage of new graded copies have kept this book stable.
This is a fascinating case study in market dynamics. The Fumari cover is gorgeous, and the Joker comparison for Shadow Angel got people excited. Graded copies with so few on the census has held strong. That limited supply helps. But the raw market, it's taking a hit. It suggests initial hype outpaced actual character development or broader adoption. It's a good reminder that not every new character's debut will be the next big thing, no matter how cool the initial concept or how rare the variant. Still, for Batman fans, if Shadow Angel develops, this could bounce back.
Rolling in at number 7 is The Boys #1 from DC Wildstorm imprint that came out in 2006. June 2024 was peak The Boys season, with the series returning and a controversial finale. Amazon confirmed season 5 as the conclusion, allowing for spin-offs. At its height, a near mint raw copy sold for $107, and a graded 9.8 hit $360. Nearly a year later, near mint raws trend around $70, while graded 9.8s are $303. Both are down year over year, but with a new season on the horizon, it's still a push.
The Boys is a modern IP phenomenon. This book saw a predictable surge with the show's popularity. The slight dip we're seeing now isn't surprising. It is a natural correction after peak season hype, confirming season 5 as the end gives it a clear arc, and the potential for spin-offs mean the IP isn't going anywhere. This is definitely a solid long-term hold for personal collections. And I expect interest to spike again as the final season approaches. It's a good example of contemporary key that maintains value due to sustained IP relevance, even through market fluctuations.
Snagging the number 6 spot is Blood Hunt Red Band Edition, issue number 4 from Marvel Comics in 2024, with the 1 in 25 Betsy Gola homage to Tales from the Crypt, issue number 28. This Golden Age homage received initial aftermarket heat and praise for Marvel's stylistic shift. 1 year ago, near mint raws peaked at $70 and graded 9.8 hit $135. Today, the market cooled significantly. A recent near mint raw sold for just $17 and a 9.8 fetched $32. This book saw higher circulation, 77 total 9.8s, and 118 raw copies sold or tracked. Supply outpaced demand, pushing this book down.
This Blood Hunt variant is a prime example of demand not matching the hype. It was well received for its vintage horror vibe, and these variants were breaking the mold for Marvel, which was exciting. But with 77 9.8s on the census and over 100 raw sales tracked, it quickly became clearly the secret or limited feel didn't translate to actual scarcity. The market got flooded. This is a crucial cautionary tale. Low ratio doesn't automatically mean low circulation. And if demand doesn't keep up, prices will drop fast.
Coming up at number 5 is Action Comics 1066 from DC Comics in 2024, rocking a 1 in 25 Mark Spears variant that Superman collectors are chasing. Lobo consistently ranks high in fans' interest. Pair his popularity with this striking gritty cover by the hottest superstar artist, Mark Spears, and the aftermarket responds. Last year, near mint raw copies were $58, graded 9.8 were $78. Then came the major announcement. Jason Momoa will portray Lobo in James Gunn's DCU. This sent collectors into a frenzy. Most recently, near mint raw copies sold for $200 and graded 9.8 fetch $307. Major ups year over year.
Now, this is how you get a comic to spike. Lobo has a passionate fan base, and this Mark Spears covers just gets the character. It was already doing well, but Jason Momoa's casting, that's the kind of definitive big name announcement that turns a solid book into a runaway train. It's not just the hype, it's a tangible link to the future of the DCU. This is a perfect storm of strong character, great art, and major media news, and it's why we're seeing such a dramatic increase. Definitely a book to watch.
Taking number 4 is Superman 32 from DC Comics back in 2014 with a wraparound regular cover by John Romita Jr. and Klaus Janson. 1 year ago, during peak speculation for James Gunn's Superman, leaked set photos fueled speculation Mr. Oz might debut. Collectors scrambled for his first appearance. In July of 2024, near mint raw copies were $6, graded 9.8 were $46. 1 year later, Mr. Oz buzz cooled off. Near mint raw copies topped at $4 and graded 9.8 sold for $20. Both are significantly down.
This is a classic spec gamble. Mr. Oz was a hot rumor during the initial Superman DCU chatter. People, myself included, saw leaked photos and thought this could be it. The low entry point made an easy bet, but without solid confirmation or a major role, that initial buzz fades. This shows the risk of speculating on unconfirmed appearances. However, because the entry point is so low, it's still a relatively affordable book to just tuck away. If Mr. Oz ever does become a major player, you're set. If not, you didn't lose much.
At number 3, Negative Burn number 7 from Image Comics from 2006 surprises us, showing that some indie gems can still make waves. This book features John Prufrock from the indie series Proof. Became a top 10 hit after its series was optioned. Previously a dollar bin title, in July of 2024, a near mint raw sold for $33 and a graded 9.8 followed a month later at $83. Since then, things are quiet. The most recent near mint raw sold for $15 and there are no recorded graded sales as of yet. Raws is down 50%, graded is still at a push.
This is your quintessential option book story. Proof number 7 went from a dollar bin book that saw a massive spike the moment an adaptation was announced. But as you can see, when that news cycle dies down and no further production update comes, the market cools dramatically. This is a good entry point for long-term speculators, but it's a gamble. Many option projects never make it to screens. If it does, great. If not, it returns to those dollar bin roots. This is a pure long-term play, often for those who really love the property.
Sitting at number 2 is Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu issue 0 from Marvel Comics in 2024. The 1 per store secret variant. It is rare for Marvel heroes to stay dead. Hype for Mark Spector's return, fueled by a secret variant made in an aftermarket target. A year ago, near mint raw copies hit $60 and graded 9.8 followed at $111. Momentum cooled fast. Most recently, near mint raws are just $10 and there are no recorded 9.8 sales since last August. Despite the secret label, the market was flooded with over 350 raw sales. This caused both raw and graded to be down year over year.
The secret and the one per store labels sounds amazing, right? They imply scarcity, but when a publisher pushes out hundreds of thousands of copies, even a one per store variant can become oversaturated. If demand isn't insane, everyone knows about the variant, everyone's trying to get one, and suddenly the perceived scarcity vanishes. It's a good lesson that initial hype doesn't guarantee long-term value.
At the top, number one this week is Proof number 1 from Image Comics in 2007. A first issue that proves Image First are still hot with collectors. June 2024 option announcement tapped 90s nostalgia, positioned it as a X-Files meets Men in Black. This lit a fire under the overlooked title, pushing it from the dollar bins to the top 10. At its peak, near mint raw copies hit $135, and a graded 9.8 sold for $360 in January of 2025. The news has gone south since. The most recent near mint raw sale was $28, and no new 9.8 sales were recorded. Raw copies are down, however, the graded copies are still a push.
Proof number 1 went from being a $2 book to $135 simply on an option announcement. That is a huge return for early buyers. But like burn number 7, the quiet period means a significant drop. The takeaway? Options are lottery tickets. If it hits production, great. If not, it settles back down. But even at $10, it still held a significant gain from its original price point, making it a low risk, long-term hold with speculative upside.
This week highlights mixed market outcomes. Books tied to major media like Deadpool and Wolverine or The Boys saw short spikes, then market corrections, mostly trending down. The lesson: act early and exit early if chasing media heat. Everyone knows the same announcements. Character-driven books like Doom number 1 and Action Comics number 1066 stood out, seeing sustained demand due to fan interest and major casting news. Strong character presence, limited covers, or tributes can create long-term winners, especially with low CGC census count. Hype books like Shadow Angel's debut, Blood Hunt variant, and Proof cooled significantly. Many flood the market and were heavily spec'd on, with little follow-through. The aftermarket reacts faster. Early entry is critical. FOMO buys after release rarely hold value.
So what's the lesson learned from these 10 books? It really boils down to a few key insights. Media tie-ins are powerful, but they're quick flips. You have to be ahead of the curve. True, sustained value often comes from core character appeal, especially when boosted by big confirmed news like a major casting. And for those tempting hype books, be cautious. Scarcity isn't about ratio numbers. It's about actual market supply versus sustained demand. But for patient collectors, every cooldown is a potential entry point. These retrospectives aren't just about prices. They're about understanding collector behavior and where real opportunity lies for the long-term gain.
That wraps up our look back at the comic market. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more insight. And for more even in-depth market analysis, visit Covrprice YouTube channel for their weekly content, which includes the top 10 comics, the Shaker Report, and comics cover with co-founders Matt and John. And don't forget to check out covrprice.com to see their current top 10 lists and trending movers and shakers.
The Bronx Comic Show at the Bronx Brewery was fantastic. I had a blast and it was a great time. I got all this for just under $100. And that's why you guys should go check out these smaller shows. It's definitely worth the price of admission, which was free. And if you like this content and you want to see more stuff like this, come check out my YouTube channel at Comics with IzzyVerse. You can also check out my socials at IzzyVerseNYC. And I'll be doing more shows like this. I'll be heading out to more cons, more mini cons, more large cons, you name it. I'll see you at the next one. Excelsior.